For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
News team, assemble!
Joining us live because if you want to know anything about the Outer Banks, Sam Walker's the dude to fill you in.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli.
Always appreciate talking to you.
Always good stuff with Sam Walker in the Outer Banks.
Now here's Les Nessman and the news.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to OBX Today Live here on Facebook and YouTube. I'm Sam Walker, presented by Gallup Funeral Services for this Thursday, December 30th, 2021. It'll be our last show of the year with New Year's Day falling on Saturday. Tomorrow is actually the holiday. Tomorrow off, so we'll be off tomorrow. Back with you again on Monday to kick off 2022. And let's get right to some of the headlines following this morning at OBXtoday.com. Camden County Schools will be going to a mask optional policy starting next month on January the 18th. The Camden Board of Education agreed to the policy change earlier this month. And the switch will return Camden to the policy of follow at the beginning of the school year in August. It also puts them as the only school system that's going back to mask optional for the start when schools they're actually going to resume classes next week, but they're going to start in mid-January. North Carolina law right now requires school boards to vote once a month on their mask policies for their schools indoors. So Camden will be the first in the area to go back to an optional mask policy. And again, that starts January 18th. Vidant Health announcing yesterday they're going to no longer allow cloth face masks to be worn in their facilities. Starting today, they will only allow hospital-issued masks. Cloth face mask will no longer be required. And also no visitors will be allowed for COVID-19 positive patients. We have reached out to Outer Banks Hospital, the NAG said, because they are affiliated with Vidant along with Chesapeake Regional, and to find out what their policy is. Have not heard back from them. I got that update late yesterday evening. So we hope to hear something back on that possibly before the end of the show. But we'll definitely get an update on that at obxtoday.com if there has been a change when it's regarding Outer Banks Hospital and whether or not they are going to require you to wear a mask that they issue. Other news yesterday, at obxtoday.com, Dare County Sheriff's Office put out a press release yesterday with an update on that double murder that they are investigating, but no new information really in that release other than that they are continuing their investigation into the deaths of Michael Berry and Norwood Armstrong Jr. Berry was found dead in the Scarborough Circle, or at the Scarborough Circle mobile home park in north end of Roanoke Island on Sunday around 3 o'clock. And then Sunday evening, the Currituck County Sheriff's Office was notified by the Dare County Sheriff's Office to search for a missing or deceased person on Macedonia Church Road near Poplar Branch. That is where the body of a 68-year-old Norwood Armstrong was found in a wooded area in the Poplar Branch area. That was on Sunday night. 37-year-old Jack Dempsey Wise III of Manio, charged with 2 counts of felony first-degree murder. There was a hearing on Tuesday where bond remained set at 0, no bond, and Wise remains held at the Dare County Detention Center. But the Dare County Sheriff's Office says they continue to investigate, and that is an active investigation. More charges are pending, and they are asking for the public's help. You can contact the Dare County Sheriff's Office non-emergency line or the Dare Central Communications non-emergency line if you have more information about that case. Nags Head Police Department is asking for the public's help identifying 2 individuals from surveillance photos at a Whalebone Junction fast food restaurant involved in a hit and run. According to a post on the department's Facebook page, a hit and run occurred in the parking lot of the KFC Taco Bell. Now, the photos have time and date stamps of around 2 p.m. on December 17th, and a white panel truck was involved, according to the Facebook post from the Nags Head Police Department. We got those photos at obxtoday.com if you want to take a look at those there. A story that's kind of making the statewide rounds this morning. North Carolina alcohol law enforcement agents charged 5 underage women from Currituck County along with 2 Killable Hills restaurants and a pair of workers with multiple offenses after one of the women was involved in an alcohol-related crash in Currituck County back on November the 27th. The underage driver had serious injuries, and investigations determined that alcohol was involved with that. And we've got all the info on that at obxtoday.com. More of OBX Today live here on Facebook and YouTube is coming up, so stick around.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
Aycock Brown was amazing. He was a photographer and publicist, primarily, if you get to the heart of who he was, that came to the Outer Banks during the 1950s, 60s in particular, and really was one of the primary people that put this place on the map.
He was like a poor boy from the mountains of North Carolina, and he put himself through journalism school, and he pretty much has credit for promoting the Outer Banks to the tourist industry that it is now. The local people took him in, and I guess it just took off from there.
Aycock Brown became the director of the Dare County Tourist Bureau in the early 1950s. He knew that this was not a well-known area, and that if he was going to get the word out, that he was going to have to literally get the word out.
He pestered the magazines and newspapers all over, everywhere, and to the point of aggravating them, but they would run his stories just to get him to get off their back, you know. It's kind of comical how it is.
The amazing part of it was just the volume of it, and that's one of the things people say is he just wasn't so much of anything else but that he got it in the mail. And that was what made him so good as the first director, because the original tourist bureaus and chambers of commerce here were kind of in competition with each other. And it was finally decided that if the area was going to be promoted, that it had to be one voice. And he was that voice.
This is a picture of the Wright Memorial, the monument, when man first stepped on the moon. And Granddad, he went and sat at the bottom of the hill, and he listened to his radio, and he said, "One small step for man," and he took a picture of the monument with the moon in the background.
Anyone could find Aycock Brown. He would wear a uniform.
Always wore a straw hat, dress pants, Hawaiian shirt, straw hat. Always had 3 or 4 cameras hanging around his neck, smoked cigarettes.
It was that banana boat hat that was really his signature. I think Aycock Brown created the aura, the image, the idea of the Outer Banks. And I think that he created that idea of this was an amazing, unique place that you couldn't find anywhere else. And he had the stories to prove it. And so I think that his impact on getting people to come here is immeasurable. If Aycock Brown hadn't existed, I think the Outer Banks would have developed, but not the way that it did. And I certainly wouldn't have developed as quickly. His interest in the Outer Banks was someplace magical and special and unique, in that it wasn't a high life excitement, but that it was family-oriented and nature-oriented and fun. Without him, I'm afraid we'd be someplace that we're not. I think it would have still developed, but nowhere near as well.
What do you think it was about the Outer Banks?
I guess it was a good story. I mean, I guess it was just the perfect story.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
And back here on OBX Today Live, presented by Gallup Funeral Services on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you mash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to know whenever we go live. Good morning, all you folks watching and commenting out there from Connecticut and New Kent, out in the mountains of North Carolina, and right here on the Outer Banks and throughout northeastern North Carolina. Thanks for joining us, as many of you always do. Glad that y'all have made us a part of your morning routine here with us at OBX Today live. A couple stories we got for you. That includes latest on Larry Demery. He was, of course, one of the two men convicted of killing the father of Michael Jordan back in 1993. The state has revoked his parole. It was announced in 2020 that Larry Demery would be released as part of an agreement which would take part in a scholastic and vocational program designed to prepare him for life outside prison. Initial release date was August 2023. It was pushed back to 2024. Now that has been revoked. No details have been shared about why that parole has been revoked. No winners in the final Powerball drawing of 2021. Last night, jackpot's now up to $483 million. If you go to OBXtoday.com right now, of course, we are continuing our look back at the top stories of 2021. And as the year comes to an end, our most read stories. Back in January, Tatum Love suffered critical injuries in a two-vehicle crash in Kill Hills after spending weeks in intensive care at Centera Norfolk General Hospital, then a rehabilitation center in the Atlanta area. She's returned home and defied everything some of the best doctors in the country said she could do. She's back at First Flight High School this fall, on track to graduate in June. She even stopped by and made a guest appearance on 99.1 The Sound with her Lisa Brickhouse not too long ago. Of course, writing for the Nighthawk News, which is the student newspaper of First Flight. And it's great there. So you can go look back at some of the stories we had about Tatum Love at OBXtoday.com. All right, what are you going to do with a Christmas tree now that the year is over, or the holidays are almost over? Time to get the thing out of the house, the live Christmas tree. Well, it depends on where you live, what happens. If you live in Dare County or any of the 6 towns, there are different policies regarding Christmas trees. We got the full list of what to do. But the big thing is a lot of folks always like to do this. I know we'll be hearing about some of the collection efforts that are going to be scheduled around Hampton Roads and here locally to take these Christmas trees and put them out on the beach for dune restoration. Well, there are some certain rules regarding how that can be done and how the trees can be placed. And we've got a breakdown on that as well at obxtoday.com. The North Carolina Beach Buggy Association recently presented a $5,000 donation to the Cape Hatteras United Methodist Band, one of the many local and community-oriented organizations that the Beach Buggy Association supports. And thanks to Joy Chris down at Island Free Press, got a story about that up in the Neighbor to Neighbor Help Zone at obxtoday.com. We always like to share some of the content from our fellow publications here on the Outer Banks. One of those being the Ocracoke Observer. They've got a story that we've got up at obxtoday.com right now. Our pal Peter Vankevich with this one about the Diamondback terrapin, and how phragmites are impacting its ability to live here on the Outer Banks. And we got all the details about that at obxtoday.com. All right, don't forget tomorrow night. It is the New Year's Eve celebration, new name for it, Midnight Magic and Manio, going on. Downtown Manio gets underway tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock with DJ Mix and Mike, then 8 o'clock Trick Fly, and 10 o'clock Johnny Waters and Company. 8 o'clock is the kids countdown, and then from 6 until 10, there'll be food vendors, kids games, fun activities, and then the biggest fireworks show to celebrate the new year in North Carolina happens at midnight. Our weather forecast has been kind of going back and forth with what's going to happen tomorrow evening. It looks like it's going to be after midnight that the shower activity is going to return. So we're going to be pretty good. Comfortable temperatures, though, upper 50s as things get underway, and then dropping to around the low 50s by midnight. So should be a fun time in downtown Manio tomorrow evening. To ring in 2022. We got the details for you at obxtoday.com. Come back with sports and weather next here on OBX Today Live.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
In the 19th century, before the time of the U.S. Coast Guard, there were 29 life-saving stations along the coast of North Carolina. Here in the Outer Banks, the Pea Island Life Saving Station and its crew have become famous for their incredible history and heroic actions. The year was 1880, and Richard Etheridge had just become the first black keeper of station number 17, and in turn commanded the first all-black crew of a life-saving station. Etheridge trained his crew well and pushed them to become the best that they could be. This rigorous training paid off during the rescue of the E.S. Newman on October 11, 1896. The nightly beach walk was called off that night due to hurricane conditions, but surfman Theodore Meekins was assigned lookout from the watchtower and spotted a red flare from the distressed ship. The Pea Island Life Saving Station quickly sprung into action, and they first attempted rescue with a Lyle gun, but could not get it to fire due to the heavy rain and overwash. Keeper Etheridge asked for volunteers to tie a rope around their waist and swim out to the E.S. Newman. His plan was successful, and over the course of the next 4 hours, 10 trips were made to the ship, and Captain S.A. Gardner, his wife, his son, and his 6 crewmates were all rescued. No medals were given for their heroic rescue until 100 years later, when they were awarded the Gold Life-Saving Medal by the U.S. Coast Guard.
We are the Pea Island Preservation Society. This weekend happens to be a very special weekend because it's a couple of days before the station's most famous wreck.
125 years after the rescue of the E.S. Newman, the Pea Island Preservation Society held an anniversary celebration in Manio in remembrance of the heroic rescue.
Folks, let's give this motley crew a big hand.
This included a special presentation at the aquarium on Roanoke Island, as well as placing a wreath on Keeper Etheridge's grave. To cap off the event, it was announced that October 11th, 2021 would become Pea Island Lifesavers Day, to forever commemorate the Pea Island Life-Saving Station.
I proclaim October the 11th, 2021 is Pea Island Lifesavers Day. North Carolina, commend its observance to all citizens. So thank you.
Yeah, stand back. Thank you. Is that not great news?
This was followed by a second event at the Haven Creek Baptist Church in Manio.
Like the children of the Israelites.
All right. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. God's gonna trouble the waters.
I'd like to welcome everyone here today and thank you for coming out to help us celebrate the 125th anniversary of the E.S. Newman rescue. To all the descendants of the men who served at Pea Island, their past lives within you, for you are a product of their past, the keeper of their story. And it is our duty to tell their story, to inspire and educate future generations,
We're here to honor Richard Etheridge today. He was the epitome of a great leader. He was loved and respected by his men and other lifesavers. And of course, he was revered by those he rescued.
You've heard the names before and you'll hear them again. Richard Etheridge, Theodore Meekins, Benjamin Bowser, Louis Westcott, Dorman Pugh, Stanley Wise, William Irving. Because as I said, if not for them, I would not be here today. There would be no Gardner family. Although time separates us, I wish to thank Richard Etheridge and the crew for their courage, dedication, and humility.
So the establishment of an all-black crew at Pea Island seemed like a promising opportunity. By comparison, here was a station where they might rise in the ranks. The black community took pride in Pea Island. Even now, 125 years later, their example lights our paths toward a better tomorrow.
The history of the crew at the Pea Island Station continues to this day, and their legacy is marked by the role they played in the collective work done by all life-saving stations across the Outer Banks. The all-black Pea Island Life-Saving Station means so much to the U.S. Coast Guard, and it is one of our proudest moments in our 231 plus years of service history of saving lives.
The Pea Island Preservation Society operates the Cookhouse Museum in Manio, where there are countless artifacts and photos documenting the history of the first all-black life-saving station. Here you will find Joan and Darrell Collins, cousins and descendants of Herbert Collins, the last man in charge of Pea Island before it was deactivated in 1947.
This history, I believe, is just so telling about what the history of this country represents. Blacks, whites, Native Americans, people of mixed heritage, who lived right here on Roanoke Island, who are related, who share a common bond, whose lives were, yes, very, very different, but in many respects, very much the same.
The incredible story of Richard Etheridge and his crew will live on forever at the Pea Island Cookhouse Museum in Manio, and in the hearts and minds of all those who visit.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
Back here on OBX Today Live on Facebook and YouTube. Sports. College basketball last night. It wasn't a very good night locally. East Carolina, Wichita State got postponed. ECU's got some COVID issues in the roster now. Of course, North Carolina, Virginia Tech was supposed to play yesterday. That got postponed earlier in the week. Duke and Clemson also getting postponed earlier in the week. UNC and Boston College were supposed to play Saturday. That's now on Sunday. Yeah. Wait a minute, where's my emails? Let me check that one. There were a couple more changes announced for the ACC yesterday. Yeah, that's moved to Sunday at 1 o'clock. Let's see. Virginia and Syracuse is going to play at 6 on Saturday. And Louisville and Georgia Tech's moved to Sunday. Boston College, Duke, and Georgia Tech now in their COVID protocols. And following the Duke, Notre Dame, and Clemson, all those games are going to get rescheduled. They're just got to figure out how they're going to do that. Last night games that did get played, Wake Forest dropped a 73-69 road loss to Louisville. NC State falls on the road 91-83 at Miami. College football yesterday, 3 bowl games got in. That was Clemson beating Iowa State. Iowa State, man, they lost. That was some weird stuff. You had a double-tipped pass, batted pass by the quarterback for Iowa State. They got intercepted and returned for a touchdown. Then the last play, Brock Purdy on the last play of the game, what turned into the last play for Iowa State anyway, runs for first down on 4th down, fumbles the ball, recovers it back behind the line to gain. That was just bad all around. Clemson beat Iowa State 20-13. Oklahoma rolled past Oregon last night in the Alamo Bowl. And it was Maryland blowing out Virginia Tech 54-10 in the Pinstripe Bowl. Today, Duke's Mayo Bowl. They're playing for all the Mayo in Charlotte. And free iced tea from Bojangles for us if North Carolina can beat South Carolina. It's an 11:30 start. Music City Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee, and Purdue at 3. Chick-fil-A, the Peach Bowl in Atlanta. Pitt, Michigan State tonight at 7. And then the Las Vegas Bowl between Wisconsin and Arizona State at 10:30. Tomorrow, Wake Forest and Rutgers in the Gator Bowl at 11. 12 for the Sun Bowl between now Washington State and Central Michigan after Miami had to pull out. And then the college football playoff semifinals are tomorrow afternoon, 3:30, the Cotton Bowl, Cincinnati, Alabama, and the Orange Bowl at 7:30, Georgia and Michigan. All right, OBX Today Weather Center forecast. We're going to be dealing with some kind of a unsettled pattern. That's what we're in right now. We'll pull up the display here because I've got a couple of maps to show you. First off, we do have the possibility of some isolated severe thunderstorms possible today, late this afternoon and evening. Here's what we're looking at with kind of a stalled out frontal system, a little low up over West Virginia as we get into the day today. And tonight, it's going to bring us some unsettled weather. We had some severe weather down in Alabama. We're not going to see that severe with strong thunderstorms and tornadoes. But we are going to see some severe thunderstorms possible, just a few isolated ones. Here's how things look later on tonight. That low kind of drops down over us, over North Carolina today, and then makes its way offshore tomorrow. Nothing to be concerned about. It's going to be moving too fast and really isn't all that strong. Then we're looking at more wet weather headed into the weekend, and looks like we are actually going to still are in the possibility of heavy rainfall over all of North Carolina just about on New Year's Day and on Sunday. Much needed rain. As you can see, the brown areas, that's the drought, severe drought. This rain going to be beneficial. We might get enough rain to get us dropped back. New drought map comes out today, and we'll have that for you later on at OBXtoday.com. So here's the forecast. Showers, thunderstorms possible this afternoon. Maybe a severe one mixed in. High 65 with southwest winds 10 to 15, shifting to the north in the afternoon. Showers, possibly a thunderstorm tonight. Some patchy fog as well, lows 52. Friday, morning fog, then mostly cloudy, high 62. Friday night, mostly cloudy. Chance of showers, looks like they're going to be overnight, after midnight. So we should be okay as far as things go with the New Year's Eve celebration in downtown Manio. A low tomorrow night at 52. New Year's Day, mostly cloudy with some morning showers and 71. Chance of showers Saturday night and 61. Then showers through the day Sunday, a high 70. Then sunny and back to more winter-like weather to start the first full week start the week. Monday, sunny and 42 and breezy, so it's going to feel even colder. Sunny Tuesday and 52. And next Wednesday, partly sunny, back to 61. So just a brief period of cold weather, and we're going to right back into this spring-like stuff. Coastal Marine forecast for today. It's rather calm out there and almost foggy, actually foggy outside up here in Currituck. We'll see light variable winds, 2 to 3 foot waves in the sound, seas 3 to 5 feet. Water temperatures mid-50s to around 60. Next tide change in Oregon Inlet's low tide 11:01. Sunset tonight at 4:57. Sunrise tomorrow at 7:11. Currently outside the studios in Uptown Nags Head, we've got 60 degrees and overcast skies. Beautiful sky. I mean, I say beautiful. I mean, it's very nice out there. We've seen the people running by on the camera there. We got at Avon Pierce, courtesy of Surf Checks. Just a little drizzly, a little damp out there. Let's shoot back up to Nags Head right now. Yeah, you see, we don't have the fog up this way. Corolla, though, you can see the fog there. So it's going to be not a bad wrap up to 2021, considering the temperatures. Downtown Silver Lake and Ocracoke looking beautiful. Hatteras, the sun's been kind of peeking through this morning. I can see Avon, see the sun reflecting off the pier right now. All right, that's going to do it for OBX Today Live for the day and for 2021. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you mash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell to know whenever we go live. It's all brought to you by Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back on Monday. Happy New Year, everyone.